In the quiet dawn of every warrior's soul lies a truth older than the blade. Perfection is not power, imperfection is. The ancient masters knew this well. They called it Kintsugi, the art of mending what was broken with gold, transforming scars into strength. In the furnace of life, every fracture, every flaw, every wound is a mark of endurance, a reminder that beauty and power are born not from what remains unbroken, but from what refuses to stay shattered. Like steel tempered in relentless fire, our spirit too is forged through struggle, through Mujo, the acceptance of impermanence, and through Hagane no Ishi, a will of steel that never yields. Each of us here carries a story written in cracks of gold, each scar a badge of the soul's resilience. So, my fellow warriors, if you walk this path of self-forgation, if you seek strength through imperfection, comment "I rise" and subscribe to this brotherhood of evolving spirits. Thank you for standing in this circle of flames, where brokenness becomes beauty and failure transforms into power. To accept imperfection is to walk the path of true strength, a path where the warrior no longer fights against his flaws, but learns to wield them as his greatest weapon. In the ancient philosophy of Kintsugi, the Japanese art of mending broken pottery with gold, lies a reflection of this truth. Every crack, every fracture, becomes a story of resilience, a testament that damage does not mean destruction, and broken does not mean worthless. When a vessel breaks and is repaired with gold, it becomes more valuable than before. So too are our hearts, our spirits, and our minds. The fire of life forges us, and in the process we are chipped, scarred, and reshaped. Yet, it is in those fractures that the light of wisdom enters. A perfect life is a hollow illusion. True beauty resides in imperfection, for it reveals the courage to rise again. The warrior who hides his scars hides his story, but the one who embraces them wears his truth like armor. Acceptance of imperfection is not surrender, it is awakening. It is the moment when the warrior realizes that chasing flawlessness is a prison, and embracing imperfection is liberation. The world teaches us to hide our cracks, to polish our edges, to be untouchable. But the way of the samurai teaches something deeper. The samurai sharpens his blade, not to achieve perfection, but to maintain discipline, awareness, and purpose. In the same way, our flaws remind us of our humanity, grounding us in humility and growth. Bushido, the way of the warrior, does not demand perfection, it demands sincerity and balance. To live with Bushido is to walk with honor in imperfection, to find peace in progress, and to accept that the journey itself is more sacred than any flawless destination. When we see our imperfections as lessons instead of limitations, we begin to master the art of self-forging. In the heat of battle, a cracked sword may still strike true, for strength lies not only in form but in spirit. So too in life. Our cracks do not make us weak. They remind us of what we've endured. The one who hides his wounds denies his power, but the one who shows them transforms pain into wisdom. This is the essence of Kintsugi wisdom. To see the gold within the break. Every failure you've faced, every mistake you've made, every moment you've fallen, these are not stains on your soul, but golden lines of your evolution. The samurai bows to his scars, for they are teachers more honest than victory. They whisper lessons that success often silences. Imperfection humbles us, connects us, and refines us into beings of depth and authenticity. When we stop pretending to be unbroken, we finally begin to grow into who we are meant to become, strong not despite our cracks, but because of them. To accept imperfection is to master the rhythm of life. The rise, the fall, the renewal. Just as seasons change and rivers carve mountains, our spirits too evolve through the currents of struggle. The Japanese call this wabi-sabi, the beauty of impermanence and imperfection. To live by this truth is to stop fearing change and start honoring the transformation it brings. The fire that once burned us becomes the forge that shapes us. Every flaw is a reflection of movement, of effort, of life itself refusing to stand still. Warriors who accept imperfection do not seek an end to hardship. They seek to be unbreakable through it. Their hearts beat with quiet confidence, a knowing that even in brokenness, they are whole. For in the end, perfection is lifeless, but imperfection breathes. It is through our cracks that the light of purpose shines, turning our wounds into wisdom and our imperfections into power. Strength through scars is the silent anthem of every soul that has endured the storm and chosen to rise again. Each scar we carry, whether on flesh or deep within the heart, tells a story of survival, of courage that refused to yield. In the way of the samurai, a scar is never a mark of shame. It is a symbol of Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel. The warrior knows that pain refines character, just as fire tempers the blade. When life's blows cut deep, they carve wisdom into the spirit. The scars left behind are not reminders of defeat, but of battles fought and lessons earned. They whisper of resilience, of moments when the warrior stood against despair and chose to endure. A smooth, unscarred surface tells no tale, but the scarred one speaks of transformation. Of a human soul tested and forged by the relentless heat of existence. Every scar bears a name, a moment, a struggle that defined who we are. The body may heal, but the spirit carries the memory of that trial, and in that memory lies strength. The samurai bows to his scars as one would bow to a master, for they are teachers carved into the skin of experience. They remind him that he has fallen and risen again, that even pain can be sacred when endured with purpose. In Kintsugi, when broken pottery is mended with gold, the once broken parts become the most beautiful, glowing lines of resilience that redefine the vessel's identity. So too must we see ourselves. Our scars are our golden seams, proof that we are not fragile porcelain, but unyielding spirit. The warrior does not hide his wounds. He honors them as symbols of his journey, each one a testament that he has lived fully, fought bravely, and emerged stronger. To find strength through scars is to embrace the paradox of pain, that through suffering we are purified. Every hardship strips away the unnecessary, revealing the core of our being. When the heart breaks, it expands. When the spirit fractures, it grows. The fire that burns us also illuminates us, showing what within cannot be destroyed. Scars remind us that we have already faced what once terrified us, and we endured. They carry a quiet confidence, a truth that no comfort can teach. The samurai's path is not one of avoiding pain, but of transcending it. He walks with shin, a pure, unwavering heart, accepting that scars are the price of transformation. They are the proof that the soul has met adversity, danced with it, and emerged wiser. Just as the sword's beauty lies in its tempered steel, our greatness lies in our healed wounds. The scarred soul walks differently, not with arrogance but with calm power. It no longer fears the storm, for it has already weathered many. It no longer seeks perfection, for it knows beauty lies in endurance. Strength through scars means seeing pain not as an enemy, but as a forge, each trial shaping us into something unbreakable. The Japanese speak of nintai, the virtue of endurance, patience, and silent strength. It is in this silence that true warriors grow, not in the noise of victory, but in the quiet aftermath of pain. Scars, then, are not the end of the story. They are the beginning of mastery. They are living proof that even in ruin there can be rebirth. Every scar glows like gold under the light of acceptance, a reminder that what was once broken now stands stronger. For the warrior who bears scars without shame has already conquered the hardest battle, the one within. The fire of resilience is the sacred flame that burns within every warrior who refuses to be consumed by darkness. It is not a fire of destruction, but of transformation. The eternal heat that tempers the soul and shapes the will. In the way of the samurai, fire is both the test and the teacher. It purifies, refines, and reveals what cannot be destroyed. The warrior walks through this fire willingly, knowing that without it there can be no strength, no wisdom, no rebirth. Life will test every human being, through loss, failure, betrayal, and pain. Yet those who rise from the ashes do so with eyes that have seen truth. The heart of fire is what separates the fragile from the forged. The flames of hardship are not our enemies, they are the forges of destiny. The fire does not burn to destroy us. It burns to make us whole, to reveal the steel hidden beneath the fear. Those who dare to endure the heat emerge not scarred but purified, glowing with the light of inner power that only the fire of resilience can bestow. Resilience is not born from comfort, but carved through challenge. The fire teaches the warrior that strength is not the absence of suffering, but the mastery of it. Just as steel must be heated again and again to gain its edge, so must the human spirit be tested repeatedly to find its unbreakable core. When we are thrown into the flames of life, hardship, rejection, loneliness, we have a choice: to melt into despair or to harden into purpose. The samurai chooses the latter. He bows before adversity and says, "Forge me." The fire refines his patience, sharpens his resolve, and ignites the will known as Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel. The warrior who rises from the fire does not fear the heat again. He carries it within. He becomes the flame that guides others, the light that guides others, the light that cannot be extinguished. In this way, resilience is not merely survival, it is transformation, a rebirth of spirit through the language of endurance. When the flames close in, the untrained heart panics, but the awakened spirit stands still, breathing through the heat. This is the discipline of resilience, to face the fire without flinching, to trust that pain has purpose. The samurai understands that only through hardship can clarity be born. The fire burns away illusions, exposing the truth of who we are. In Kintsugi, gold fills the cracks left by destruction. In the soul, it is resilience that fills the fractures with light. Every time we rise after falling, every time we stand again despite the flames, we add another layer of gold to our spirit. Resilience is that divine alchemy, transforming weakness into wisdom, fear into faith, and failure into fuel. The fire teaches us to find beauty in pain, to see every trial as an opportunity to grow stronger, to rise higher. The warrior who embraces the fire no longer fears being broken. He knows the flame will make him radiant. The fire of resilience is endless. It is the heartbeat of the indomitable spirit. When life tests us, it is not cruelty but invitation, a call to awaken the strength that lies dormant within. The Japanese concept of Fudoshin speaks of an unshakable mind, a spirit unmoved by fear or chaos. This is the true gift of the fire, to become steady amid destruction, to find stillness within the storm. The resilient warrior is not unscarred but unstoppable. He walks through life carrying his own inner blaze, using its warmth to light his path and the paths of others. His presence burns with quiet strength, a living reminder that nothing can extinguish the human spirit that has chosen to rise again and again. The fire of resilience is the soul's eternal forge, where pain becomes power, loss becomes wisdom, and every fall becomes the spark for another rise. Embracing Mujo, the truth of impermanence, is the essence of all wisdom, and the foundation of the samurai spirit. Mujo teaches that everything in life flows like a river, never still, never permanent, always changing. To fight against this flow is to suffer. To move with it is to find peace. The warrior understands that nothing lasts forever, not triumph, not sorrow, not even life itself. Yet it is this fleeting nature that gives each moment its beauty and meaning. Like cherry blossoms, sakura, that bloom only to fall, our lives are precious because they are brief. When we accept this, fear loses its grip. We stop clinging to perfection, to permanence, to control. Instead, we learn to appreciate every breath, every scar, every sunrise as a sacred gift that will never come again. Mujo does not teach despair. It teaches gratitude. The warrior bows before the flow of time and says, "I will honor this moment, for it will never return." In that awareness, he becomes timeless. He no longer fears loss, for he knows that even endings are beginnings written in another form of beauty. To embrace impermanence is to walk with serenity in a world of storms. When a warrior accepts Mujo, he ceases to resist change and instead allows it to forge his spirit. The fire that once frightened him now warms him. The wind that once pushed him now carries him forward. He learns that attachment breeds pain, while acceptance breeds freedom. The samurai does not cling to victory nor despair in defeat. He simply continues walking the path, unmoved by the shifting tides of fortune. This is the heart of Fudoshin, the immovable mind. Calm, grounded, unshaken. When we cling to what must change, we fracture. But when we open our hands and let the current flow, we discover peace in motion. The warrior who embraces Mujo no longer seeks to control the world, he seeks to harmonize with it. Every loss becomes a lesson, every change a new horizon. He moves through life like water, adaptable, flowing, and unstoppable. The beauty of Mujo lies in the humility it brings. To understand impermanence is to realize how small and sacred our time truly is. The samurai gazes upon the falling leaves and understands that all things, even glory and youth, fade in their season. Yet he does not mourn their passing, he celebrates their existence. This understanding frees him from arrogance and regret. He no longer demands that life be perfect or permanent, because he knows that perfection is static and life is motion. The Japanese concept of wabi-sabi mirrors this truth, that beauty lives in imperfection and transience. Cracks, wrinkles, fading colors, all speak of time's gentle hand. So too do our own scars and memories. When we embrace Mujo, we see that nothing we love is ever truly lost. It simply transforms. The setting sun becomes night, the fallen leaf becomes soil, all part of the eternal cycle of becoming. The warrior smiles at impermanence, for it reminds him that he, too, is part of the great flow of existence. To live with Mujo is to live without fear. The warrior who accepts impermanence becomes invincible, not because he avoids death, but because he understands it. He knows that every moment, every breath is already enough. He gives his all to the present, for it is the only reality that exists. In this way, Mujo becomes not a burden, but a liberation. It teaches the warrior to love fiercely, to fight honorably, to let go gracefully. He becomes like the flame, bright, brief, and unforgettable. The acceptance of impermanence is not resignation, but transcendence. It is the calm smile in the face of change, the unshaken heart amid chaos, the quiet courage to move forward when all else fades. In embracing Mujo, the samurai finds peace beyond victory, meaning beyond control, and beauty in the fleeting dance of life itself. For in the end, what passes through time does not disappear. It becomes eternal in the memory of the moment truly lived. The art of the Kintsugi mindset begins with a powerful shift in how we see ourselves, not as fragile beings meant to remain unbroken, but as evolving spirits shaped through every fracture we endure. In traditional Kintsugi, the craftsman does not hide the cracks of a shattered vessel. He illuminates them with gold, transforming the damage into a masterpiece. This philosophy becomes a way of life when embraced fully, a lens through which the warrior views every failure, heartbreak, and setback. Instead of asking, "Why am I broken?" he asks, "How can this break make me stronger?" The Kintsugi mindset rejects the idea that brokenness is shameful. It understands that the very moments we wish we could erase are the ones that carve depth into our souls. The samurai who embraces this mindset sees every scar as an honor mark, every fall as a training ground, and every flaw as the birthplace of resilience. In this acceptance, there is freedom. The freedom to grow without the chains of perfection, to rise without fearing the memory of falling. To live with the Kintsugi mindset is to recognize that nothing is wasted. Not pain, not defeat, not loss. Every experience becomes a stroke of gold in the mosaic of our spirit. The warrior who practices this philosophy does not hide his wounds behind pride or silence. Instead, he embodies Makoto, truthfulness. By embracing his past openly and courageously, he understands that healing is not about returning to what once was, but about emerging as something stronger, wiser, and more radiant. When something within us breaks, it reveals what was hidden: vulnerabilities, emotions, desires, strengths we never acknowledged. Kintsugi teaches us to honor these revelations. The samurai bows to his past struggles, knowing they shaped the blade of his soul. Gold-filled cracks are not covered to erase pain. They shine proudly to say, "This is where I rose." Such authenticity gives the warrior an aura of unshakable presence. For no attack, no judgment, no failure can control someone who has already faced his own breaking. The Kintsugi mindset also teaches patience, the kind found only in the slow, deliberate craft of repairing something precious. Healing is not rushed, it is respected. In a world obsessed with quick fixes and instant perfection, the warrior chooses a different path. He understands that true reconstruction takes time and that every step of healing is meaningful. The process of mending a broken vessel is delicate. Each piece must be placed with intention, each line of gold applied with devotion. Likewise, rebuilding the self requires gentleness, honesty, and discipline. The warrior sits with his pain, listens to it, learns from it, and slowly transforms it into strength. This patience cultivates inner stillness, a deep calm that lets him endure future storms without collapsing. In this calm, the samurai discovers the essence of seijaku, tranquility within chaos. He learns that healing is not about erasing the past, but about integrating it into a more powerful, more complete version of himself. Ultimately, the art of the Kintsugi mindset awakens a profound inner radiance, a glow that comes not from avoiding hardship, but from embracing transformation. The warrior who lives by this philosophy becomes a beacon for others, showing that brokenness is not the end, but the beginning of rebirth. What once seemed like ruin becomes a foundation for wisdom. What once felt like weakness becomes a reservoir of strength. The samurai who embodies this mindset walks with quiet confidence, knowing his beauty does not lie in flawlessness, but in resilience. His cracks no longer haunt him, they guide him. He becomes a living testament to ikigai, purpose born from the fusion of struggle and meaning. The Kintsugi mindset turns life itself into art, where every mistake becomes gold and every scar becomes a stroke of brilliance. It teaches us that we are not defined by the breaks we endure, but by the courage we summon to rise, mend, and shine stronger than before. Discipline and renewal are the twin blades of the warrior's soul. One sharpens the will, the other restores the spirit. Discipline is the fire that keeps the blade from rusting, the daily ritual of mastering oneself even when no one watches. Renewal is the water that cools the metal, reminding the warrior that even the strongest steel must rest to remain unbreakable. In the samurai's path, these two forces exist in perfect harmony. Without discipline, strength decays. Without renewal, the fire consumes. To walk this path is to understand balance, the art of pushing forward while also allowing space for reflection. The disciplined warrior wakes before dawn, not to chase perfection, but to honor his purpose. Each action, no matter how small, becomes a form of meditation. Each repetition, a way of polishing the soul. Through this rhythm, he cultivates shugyo, devoted practice, a life of constant refinement. But he also honors the sacred act of renewal, knowing that every sunrise offers rebirth and every pause carries wisdom. Discipline builds power, renewal sustains it. Together they forge a spirit that cannot be broken by time, fear, or failure. Discipline is not punishment, it is devotion to growth. It is the commitment to rise each day and walk the warrior's path even when the heart is weary and the body aches. The samurai knows that mastery is born not from talent, but from repetition, from the countless unseen hours of effort that forge excellence into instinct. He sharpens his blade with patience, his mind with silence, and his heart with humility. This constancy becomes his armor, guarding him against distraction and doubt. Yet the warrior also knows that unyielding discipline without renewal turns strength into rigidity. A blade that is never cooled will shatter under pressure. Renewal, through stillness, reflection, and gratitude, becomes the breath between battles, a space where the warrior reconnects with his essence. The Japanese concept of kaizen, the pursuit of continuous improvement, lives within this balance. Steady progress built upon cycles of effort and rest, of striving and restoring. The disciplined spirit advances forward, but the renewed spirit learns why. Renewal is not retreat, it is regeneration. It is the art of stepping back to see with clarity, of finding stillness in motion. The samurai sits beneath the falling leaves and listens to the silence between breaths, feeling life's rhythm within him. This pause is not weakness, it is wisdom. Renewal is the quiet forge where strength is reborn. It allows the warrior to shed what no longer serves. Old fears, stale pride, false expectations, so that new purpose can rise. The Japanese speak of misogi, the ritual of purification through water. This cleansing symbolizes the renewal of the soul, washing away impurities to reveal clarity. Likewise, renewal is the spiritual misogi of the warrior's heart. He emerges from it sharper, lighter, and truer. The disciplined act of returning to stillness grants him a vision untouched by chaos. It is here that purpose deepens and the path ahead reveals itself with calm certainty. Renewal is the reminder that even those forged in fire must also be shaped by water and wind. Together, discipline and renewal form the eternal rhythm of becoming, the inhale and exhale of the warrior's evolution. Discipline is the march forward, the relentless training of body and mind. Renewal is the moment of surrender, where the warrior's heart realigns with its truth. This duality is the essence of Hijoshin, a peaceful, balanced mind that endures through change. The samurai who embodies this harmony does not burn out, nor does he fade. He flows like a river, steady and alive. Each morning he disciplines himself to act with purpose. Each night he renews himself through reflection and gratitude. In doing so he becomes eternal movement, never stagnant, never exhausted. Discipline gives him the strength to endure life's trials. Renewal gives him the grace to find meaning in them. When both coexist, the warrior transcends the limits of flesh and will, entering the realm of true mastery, where effort and peace, struggle and serenity forge the unbreakable soul. The golden spirit within is the eternal flame that glows quietly beneath the armor of every warrior, a light unshaken by the storms of life, untouched by the chaos of the world. It is the essence that remains when everything else has been stripped away. The truth, the will, the pure heart that refuses to die. In the philosophy of Kintsugi, when a vessel is repaired with gold, it becomes more beautiful not despite its fractures, but because of them. The same is true for the spirit. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every fall adds gold to the soul's cracks until it gleams with an inner radiance. The samurai understands that this golden light is not given by the world. It is born from endurance, from pain transformed into wisdom. The Japanese call this tamashi no hikari, the light of the soul. It does not shine because life is easy, but because the warrior has learned to rise from every defeat with grace. The golden spirit within is not loud or boastful. It is calm, steady, and unyielding. It is the quiet strength that keeps the warrior walking, even when the path disappears into darkness. To awaken the golden spirit within, one must first confront the shadow. The samurai knows that true light is not found in denying the darkness, but in walking through it. Every fear, every wound, every regret becomes fuel for the soul's illumination. The process is not comfortable. It is a sacred battle fought within. Yet, each time we choose courage over despair, discipline over doubt, compassion over bitterness, we add another thread of gold to the core of who we are. This is the alchemy of the spirit. The warrior does not seek perfection, he seeks truth. And in that truth he discovers his kokoro, the heart that holds both strength and tenderness. The golden spirit within grows not from pride but from humility, not from conquest but from endurance. It is the heart that knows how to kneel before life's pain and still whisper, "I will rise." The samurai who cultivates this inner gold glows even in silence. His very presence a source of calm and courage for those around him. The golden spirit within is the meeting point of strength and serenity. It is the energy that transforms suffering into compassion, chaos into clarity, and defeat into depth. The samurai does not let bitterness stain his soul. He refines it into empathy. He understands that a heart forged in pain can either harden into stone or shine like gold. And he chooses the latter. The Japanese concept of yugen speaks to this beauty, the subtle, profound grace that emerges from within when the surface is stripped away. A warrior who has found his golden spirit no longer measures worth by victories or possessions. His value comes from the integrity of his essence. He has learned to find peace even in conflict, joy even in solitude, and light even in loss. The cracks of his past no longer define him, they illuminate him. The world may see scars, but he feels strength. His golden spirit radiates through action, discipline, and compassion, leaving a trail of light wherever he walks. To live with the golden spirit within is to embody Kintsugi, not just as art, but as existence. It means to move through life as both warrior and healer, one who has been broken and rebuilt with purpose. The samurai carrying this light becomes a living symbol of transformation. He understands that gold cannot shine without the fire that melted it, and the spirit cannot glow without the trials that shaped it. The golden spirit within is the eternal reminder that even when everything external fades, status, power, youth, the light of the soul endures. It is the unbreakable truth within impermanence, the radiance that survives every fall. The warrior who lives by this light no longer fears being shattered, for he knows that each break only reveals more gold. This is the ultimate mastery, not of others, but of oneself. To rise, to heal, to glow from within. That is the way of the golden spirit, the final lesson of Kintsugi wisdom, and the timeless mark of an indestructible soul. In the end, my fellow warriors, remember this. Perfection is an illusion, but resilience is eternal. Every scar, every flaw, every moment of breaking was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken the gold within. Like the art of Kintsugi, your spirit is not defined by what shattered, but by how you chose to mend. You are the fire and the forge, the sword and the calm after it. The path of the samurai is not about never falling. It is about rising each time with greater grace, greater strength, and greater light. Let your cracks tell your story. Let your pain reveal your purpose, and let your discipline guide you toward renewal. For the warrior who embraces imperfection becomes unstoppable, unbreakable, and eternal. You are living Kintsugi golden from within, whole through your scars, and beautiful because you dared to heal. So walk your path with courage and serenity, and when the world tests you, smile, for you have already been forged by fire. This is your spirit's art, your warrior's truth, and your unending rise. The timeless wisdom of why imperfection makes you powerful. Kintsugi wisdom.